5 Marvel women that Batman sleeps with. Who gets special access to the Batmobile? If you're in any way familiar with the comics, movies, or TV series, you'd see that Batman frankly doesn't do relationships.
No dating for the Batman. It might cut into your brooding time.
Or at least long-term ones. That said, Bruce Wayne's playboy persona isn't a total lie. We can play a game of 5 DC women that Batman would sleep with, but what about broadening our horizons? There's plenty of fish in the sea, but what if we dip our toe in the Marvel pool instead? Drawing on comparisons with DC love interests and their similarities, as well as what would attract these two characters together, here are 5 Marvel women that Batman sleeps with. Kate Bishop. It's tempting to see Kate Bishop as a good fit for Bruce Wayne. Why do you think that? Let's go through some similarities. They're both heroes without superpowers. Kate wants to be a superhero, and Batman is an awesome trainer. Do you remember someone else Batman trained personally who later made love to him? Yes! Kate Bishop is like the Marvel version of Batgirl. We're all aware of that time which Batgirl made love to Batman on the rooftop of Gotham Tower. Kate Bishop is no less sexy than Batgirl. In fact, she's way hotter than Barbara Gordon. They even share a similar tragic backstory that they can bond over. In the comics, Kate is also haunted by the death of her mother. While Bruce used his wealth to aid his obsession to become Batman, Kate Bishop rejected the money, but still embarked on the same path. Batman would take one look at her list of strengths that include, but aren't limited to, archery, boxing, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, hand-to-hand combat, and remarkable swordsmanship. Her ultimate mentor will always be Clint Barton. But who says Batman can't teach her a thing or two? And we know that Bruce Wayne has no qualms sleeping with people he mentors. Again, see the controversial rooftop session he and Batgirl had in the animated movie. Kate is perfect to trade places with Babs. Not only the original character Kate Bishop, even her role played by Haley Steinfeld in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is also an eye candy. So what are the chances of Batman missing that hit other than a home run? Natasha Romanoff. If DC's Batman and Marvel's Black Widow ever came face to face, it would end in one of 2 scenarios. They would fight to the death, or they might just find love in a hopeless place. Here's why I think that. Regardless of being prominent members of the 2 most powerful leagues in the universe, they bond over the fact that they're still the most iconic heroes of all time who are without any superpowers. Both are acknowledged as one of the most dangerous people in the world, not to be underestimated. If you get them into a conversation about how incompetent some members of their teams are, they'll never shut up. Another significant attribute that would stand out to the industrial billionaire on Natasha is her tech savviness. Black Widow is a skilled hacker. They could share some quality time utilizing cameras, computers, and chips to strategize and plot against criminals. Plus, it actually wouldn't be the first time Black Widow got with a trainer-esque love interest. Back in the Red Room, Natasha was infamously trained by the Winter Soldier, whom she went on to share a brief and ill-fated relationship with. It's a well-known fact that Bruce Wayne is attracted to powerful and beautiful women, and who's more powerful and beautiful than the Widow, played by the bombshell Scarlett Johansson. See his relationship history for proof with figures like Catwoman and Wonder Woman at the top of that list. Could we say the same thing about Black Widow, whose past romances include the likes of Soldiers, Bucky Barnes, and Clint Barton? Believe it or not, but in the comics, before she joined the Avengers, Natasha had a fling with none other than Tony Stark. It was a whole thing. She had to infiltrate Stark Industries, Stark thwarted her attempts, and before you know it, that was the foundation of her defection from the KGB. In the Ultimate Universe, Natasha and Tony actually get engaged, but they break it off on account of, Natasha betraying him, but nevertheless. One more thing, you all remember that heart-racing Natasha Romanoff changing scene in Iron Man 2, right? It's almost a reflex to imagine a similar scene, but instead of Happy Hogan, it would be Bruce Wayne, and in the Batmobile. Deciding from her past experiences, we can say that where many fail to conquer, yet Bruce is the only one who is able to make Natasha lose herself. Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. similar to Wonder Woman in DC. For sure, Bruce Wayne and Carol Danvers would find themselves dangled in the sheets if those two universes crashed together. Why do I have little doubt of that? Because Carol is the complete package, and that's precisely why a romance between her and Bruce would happen. Carol's a leader, confident, fearless, and above all else, she's funny, something Bruce severely lacks in his life. Carol's also independent. She wouldn't be needy, and she'd let Bruce go about his life in the way that makes him happy. Bruce and Carol would bond over the success they've both had in their lives, offering each other advice and helping one another with problems. When we look at the DC Universe, there's an unmistakable resemblance to a prominent love affair of Batman. That is, of course, none other than Wonder Woman. Although it's not an exact science saying that characters have equivalents, as they're each of their respective persons, it's hard to dust off the similarities between Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel. Here's the breakdown. They're both one of Earth's most powerful heroes and burdened with some serious power. DC villains would be right to quake in their boots if Captain Marvel ever crossed into the DC universe. So much so that she would inevitably get Bruce's attention. Given his attraction to heroes and criminals alike, he'd both be wary and fascinated by her, the same as he was with the literal goddess Diana. As Sir Isaac Newton said, the greater the mass, the greater the force of attraction, which is true for Bruce, considering both Carol and Diana. Wonder Woman and Batman's romance is one for the ages. Who could forget about their desperate kiss before the end of the world during the events of the Obsidian Age, and hints that they love each other in Justice League and Unlimited. Even the easy camaraderie and mutual respect between them in the newest Batman and Justice League movies overflows their chemistry. Powers-wise, Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman are nearly on the cusp of being overpowered. If you put them side by side, you'll find that both are trained warriors. Carol with the Air Force in the Kree and S.H.I.E.L.D., and Diana, as we know, being trained in combat in hopes of one day taking the throne of Themyscira. Batman's been around the block long enough for fans, and heroes and villains alike, to realize that he doesn't exactly have the best luck when it comes to romances. Well, what do you know? So does Captain Marvel. It seems like she's outright cursed when it comes to loved ones. Her most famous love interest in the comics was a Kree called Mar-Vell, or Walter Lawson, who was also the original bearer of the name Captain Marvel. But even that relationship didn't last that long. So could one night between our two characters finally be the breaking point for the cursed streak? Jean Grey in X-Men. The sultry and sexy darkness of a woman like Jean Grey is something no man can resist, and Bruce is one of them. Jean is a mighty superhero, described by both in-comic characters and fans alike as very attractive. She began as the only girl in a team of 6, so she isn't new to the interest of older men. On the other hand, she is within the same age range of Bruce, and Jean also has her fair share of hooking up with other characters in addition to Scott. Maybe it's the animalistic appeal or his battle strength that led Phoenix to do the deed with Wolverine, who is way older than her. Compared to Logan, Bruce is the golden boy. Further, Jean Grey has the capacity to destroy anything if she wanted, including Bruce Wayne's strict schedule of fighting crimes in Gotham with one call, or even a text. Every actress who played X-Men's Phoenix, the latest being Sophie Turner, is absolutely gorgeous. The Dark Knight Bruce Wayne here is the ultimate fantasy for the Dark Phoenix. So who wouldn't dream of a night with billionaire playboy and midnight crime fighter? For someone like Jean Grey, a powerful mutant with enough power to level worlds, and not enough control over them, especially when she's bonded to the Phoenix Force, a steadfast presence like Batman might actually be what she needs. Reminiscent of a relationship with Scott Summers, despite his I am become death, destroyer of worlds demeanor, Batman wouldn't be able to resist lending a hand in helping Jean control her abilities and sudden urges. And hey, it wouldn't exactly be the first time Bruce has been attracted to a redhead. The first person brilliant enough to expose his secret identity, and without actively seeking it, mind you, was a redhead photographer and reporter called Vicky Vale. So, trade in the Xavier Institute for Wayne Manor, and Jean Grey would feel right at home with her love, Bruce, beside her. Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, similar to Zatanna in DC. In the DC and Marvel universes, the sorceresses to knock all other sorceresses out of the park are Zatanna and Scarlet Witch. To get inside Batman's head and understand why he would definitely shoot his shot if he ever saw Wanda Maximoff, here's a peek at his relationship with Zatanna that can tip us off. Romance started flying in the air in Batman the Animated Series, in which it's revealed that a young Bruce Wayne and Zatanna met as teenagers. Ultimately, they drifted apart, but as grown-ups, they drifted back together. If you dip your toe in Batman Urban Legends number 11, you'll see a scenario that might as well be interchangeable with Scarlet Witch. As teens, Bruce and Zatanna spent an afternoon frolicking in the forest. This time, Bruce put aside his obsession to train to become Batman to enjoy the ride with her. Together, the two then perform a magic ritual to communicate telepathically with each other. That ends up opening a cascade of events, but that's besides the point. Scarlet Witch is infamous for impressive abilities too. For lack of a better word, enter people's minds like she did in Avengers Age of Ultron, as well as read the minds of synthetic beings like Vision back when he was in the cradle under Ultron's control. Perhaps that would lead Bruce and Scarlet to fool around in the forest as well. We do get a glimpse at how compatible Wanda and Zatanna are in the Amalgam universe, which combine DC and Marvel heroes and villains in Doctor Strange Fate number 1. The result was Scarlet Witch and Zatanna Zatara's new form, the White Witch. Even better than individual Zatanna or Wanda, the White Witch would probably take up space in Batman's head and dreams. Moreover, Wanda's phenomenal magical powers and Bruce not having supernatural abilities could blend in well and create a great dynamic between the two. Imagine having the Scarlet Witch help watch over Gotham. She and Bruce would have more free time to hang out and get to know one another. Maybe work on testing the tension and suspension between the two. Wanda may also have the maternal care that Batman had been missing for so long since his parents' death. The Scarlet Witch in the comics, as well as Elizabeth Olsen in the movies, is flaming hot. And time might have finally arrived for the famous cold dark night to finally warm up. If no one in the DC Extended Universe could finally keep the billionaire vigilante Justice from playing with the ladies' hearts, it won't be surprising for Batman to travel from one universe to another to find love, or another hookup. Who knows what he's gonna be up to? Subscribe to our newest channel as well.